and this is why I've said pretty much we've been at the ground floor of this, discussing this before everybody else. That's why I've been saying forever this is a very, very difficult decision for the Eagles, because what right now what Jalen Hurts does for the Eagles is an incredible bargain. It is not an incredible bargain for what it's worth and what it will be worth on his second contract.
Yep.
He's got to be better. He's got to be consistently better for the Eagles to go. Forget about that money. He's not getting Deshaun Watson's contract.
Here's the funny thing. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside actually has a larger base salary than Jalen Hurts does. Hurts is $1,082,000 and JJ is $1,169,000.
Yeah.
So he's actually making more. Both of them
well, that's timing because he's in his fourth year of a second year deal. So Jalen will spike ahead of that next year.
Really? You think so? He's going to jump past JJ Arcega-Whiteside? Yeah, it's kind of a given at this stage.
No,
I don't think there's going to be a team that's going to claim him just for that extra $300,000 that's out there between the minimum in the NFL and what JJ's supposed to make. They'll say, no, if he gets through waivers, then we'll put a call into him and say, we kind of like you, kid. You want to come here and play for the minimum. They'll try and save that $300,000.
Yeah, they probably. Jalen's fourth year number is $1.331 million. So that's what he will be playing on if the Eagles don't extend him after this season. $1.331 million, which is a good bargain.
Yeah, a little bit. And I've continually said I still think that's a possibility. Most people just dismiss it. Either the Eagles will go get.
Well, it's not a good sign. I don't dismiss it. It's not a good sign if that happens. That's an indication that the Eagles don't believe in him. Now, there's a small window. It's not only an indication they don't believe in him, but it's an indication they haven't been able to get better also. There is a small window that Jalen plays really, really well, and he goes the Lamar Jackson route and says, I want to bet on myself. But even that is lesser for this reason, Jody, because Lamar was at least a first-round pick, and there's a big difference even from 32 and 33, those first-round contracts versus those second-round contracts. There's at least some financial, and I feel funny saying this, but in a real-world sense, everybody would be happy making $1 million, right? But from a football perspective, you want some security, and first-round picks have it, second-round picks don't. So they're more liable to push for that extension than a first-round pick who might say, you know what, I'm going to bet on myself. And that rarely happens. The first-round guys, they want extensions. Everybody wants extensions. If Jalen plays well, he's going to want a stinking extension. No question about it.
Well, he's going to want it. And as you point out, here's the only thing that could turn that on its head. And I don't get – do you – I'm sure you know, but and shame on me for not knowing. Jalen's agent is
Nicole Lynn.
Okay. How would you handicap his way of handling players in the NFL? Hardline guy, over-evaluated, guy who's got good relations around the league. How would you look at Jalen's agent with his relationship with the Eagles?
She's a she, number one.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. I missed her name. Would you?
Nicole Lynn.
Nicole, yes. Most Nicoles are women. My apologies.
But I mean, it's the one of one agency, so it's more than just her. So, yeah, I mean, they're very well respected, and they are not going to accept playing under that final year of his rookie deal. I mean, they're going to they're going to want an extension. And they see what's going on in the rest of the league. That's why the league's upset at Cleveland. That's why the league's upset about Arizona. All these things affect quarterback contracts moving forward. And we've talked about this a lot. I don't, if Jalen plays well, it's no issue. The Eagles are going to want to get something done. He's going to want to get something done, and they'll work something out. The Eagles typically work something out.
Right. I'm just going hypothetical situation here because I like to, Johnny Mac. Here's the one potential really doesn't something you don't want to see if you're the Eagles or you're an Eagle fan. Jalen has a good year. He jumps into the middle of the pack of quarterbacks. He's down in the 20s now this year, over and done with. Check his quarterback ranking, end of the season, wins 11 games, is the 13th, 14th, 15th ranked quarterback in the NFL. But sitting there at number 10, after only playing 4 games, is Deshaun Watson. Sitting there at number 12 is Kyler Murray. And Jalen's 14 or 15. But he actually has more wins for his team than does Murray with the Cardinals and or Deshaun Watson, because the Browns aren't good when Deshaun not watching playing. And his agents walk in and go, listen, we're not that far off either of these two guys.
Yeah, and they're going to.
Truth be told, he's a good guy. You don't have to put homework clauses into his contract. We don't have any lawsuits, people coming clawing at us for millions of dollars. So here's where we want to go, and that's above and beyond what either one of those two quarterbacks got. And Eagles go, wait a minute. We love Jalen too, and we love the fact that he's a leader and he's got high character quality, but he didn't get past either of those two guys, and you want to jump above him? You want to make him a $275 million quarterback? That's not impossible, Johnny Mac, that he's asked to come back and play on his 4th-year contract because their demands are that outrageous.
It's not impossible, but and this is why I've said pretty much we've been at the ground floor of this, discussing this before everybody else. That's why I've been saying forever, this is a very, very difficult decision for the Eagles, because right now what Jalen Hurts does for the Eagles is an incredible bargain. It is not an incredible bargain for what it's worth and what it will be worth on his second contract.
Yep.
He's got to be better. He's got to be consistently better for the Eagles to go, forget about that money. He's not getting Deshaun Watson's contract. Even Kyler Murray didn't get it. Yeah. Everything fully guaranteed. You can talk about the average annual value. That's not as important as the guaranteed money. And that's where it comes down to, if he's the same type of quarterback and he's winning games with his legs, it makes it even more of a difficult decision, because that's not what the Eagles want. The Eagles want the high-powered passing offense. People talk about having a nice problem to have. This is not a nice problem to have. The Eagles have to make a very difficult decision on a unique player. And, Jeffrey Lurie pretty much has to open up his mind and say, do we want to build this team around Jalen Hurts? And that's why I've been saying this for a couple of weeks now. Or are we going to pound that square peg? Looked like they were pounding the square peg. It worked in week 1 of the preseason, but it's throw. Now, they did get the call back, the scramble. So that plays into it. Very small sample size. Clearly, they want a different type of quarterback. So if that's what you want, you're not going to pay $40 million a year. Just throw that number out there. 35. Don't even go that high. $35 million a year for a quarterback that you don't think is the type of quarterback you need to be consistently successful. It is a very, very difficult decision.
All right. The Mac guy, John McMullen and Jody McDonald, have to come back, put a bow on the show. I'll make John's life even more difficult by giving him another hypothetical.
Uh-oh.
That, yes, you're going to have to make a decision here, Philadelphia Eagles, and it will be determined. Everybody hates this. I know everybody in sports hates this, but they realize it's a reality. What other teams do affect what you have to do as far as salaries go and where the positions go and the like. There's a big decision yet to be made in the NFL at the quarterback position this year, and it's going to have a direct effect on Jalen Hurts going forward. Come back, hit that with John McMullen. I'm Jody McDonald. Appreciate you being here on Birds 365.